Hi guys, and welcome to episode 8 of YarnAdelaide Ep's podcast. I've got my coffee in a Pinch Silas's Charmander cup that he got for Easter. He loves his Pokemon, and so do I, actually. Yeah. It's episode 8. My name's Nicole. I'm from Adelaide in the northeastern suburbs in South Australia. And yeah, it's time for episode 8. Great to have your company. Welcome back, all my regular viewers. It's great that you're sticking with me, and welcome to all new viewers. Thank you for stopping by and checking out what I've got to say. Today we've got some works in progress and some finished objects. Something that I forgot to do last episode was something about control your stash, or something along those lines. I'll talk about it a bit later. And some guild news, and I'll talk a little about do a bit of a shout out to other podcasts that I like to watch, and perhaps you do too. Just a little bit about me. I haven't said anything since episode 1, unless you've seen that. What am I? Yeah, you know my name, Nicole. I'm also known as Cola Girl on Ravelry and Cola Girl 74 on Instagram. Also have a YarnAdelaide podcast group on Ravelry as well. And I did sort of elaborate a little bit last time. I was on my last episode about why I started doing this, with being that my eldest son started high school this year, and son Silas, yeah, that's his name, I remember it. It's hard to remember things when you've got a camera flashing in front of your eyes and you're sort of talking off the cuff and have to keep the conversation going. Sometimes it gets a little bit daunting, and you get dry in the mouth, and no wonder all the knitting podcasters have a cup of tea or coffee. I've got just made myself an espresso and got a veluto happening. I have a mouthful, I think. And it keeps you well lubricated. Where am I going with this? Yeah, I live in the northeastern suburbs of Adelaide in South Australia. I'm the current Vice President of the Hand Knitters Guild of South Australia, and so my eldest son, but that's where I was going, my eldest son Silas started high school this year, and he's interested in doing editing and directing and making videos and what have you, and I thought, I love my knitting, I'll do a podcast, and I had just started watching podcasts and thought, this is really good, and there's crap on the TV these days that you can't sit and knit and watch TV, so I guess watching other people's podcasts is quite interesting, and you feel a little bit more connected to the knitting community around you, it's around you, and you let people know what you do. I've got 3 kids and a dog that's sleeping just over there. We've had her since the beginning of the year. Our old dog died in December last year, and she died quite suddenly, although she was almost 15, so she'd had a very good innings, and she'd been with us since just before we started having children. I think we got her the year we got married. So we got her in 2001. I got her for the Valentine's Day. We'd had our engagement party in the January. Got her for Valentine's Day. Then got married in the November, and then had Silas the following June. Yeah, okay, there you go. And then we've got 3 kids. We've got Silas, he's 13, Elijah, he's 11, and Scarlett. Scarlett's 19 months old. I thought I was done having children. Apparently someone else had other plans for me, which has been great. been trying. It's been great, but it's also been fun being my two older boys a little bit older, and so for them to experience a baby in the house was all well and good when Silas was 2.5 when Elijah came along, but they don't quite remember, and it's very different when you've got older kids. They sort of see a lot of the adorable things than what you see as well. So yeah, Scarlett's fun. She's just in the process of finding out who's boss, where she still thinks that she is. So she can be a little bit testing. So anyway, so let's get on with what I have to show you today. Oh, today I've actually finally got something knitted that I'm wearing because the weather's finally cooling down. And yeah, I think daylight saving ends this weekend, which yay, because it's been very, very dark in the mornings. This is, well, it's sort of semi, the worm beanie. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I can't remember who does it, but I've knitted a few of them. And I noticed there was a cow variation of it, and so I adapted it and just cast on as many stitches as what I thought, because my cows I do like to double them up and sort of have them hang in the front. And yeah, and then this is some silk and wool. It's a Motivera from Spotlight, 3 different colours, and yeah, it gives it a nice drape and gets quite a lot of use in winter time, because I have a grey coat that I use to overlay. So yeah, there's one of my knits that you get to see me wearing. I'm sure you will over the next few months now that the cooler weather's coming along. So yeah, so we'll get right into it, and I will let's do finished objects. So I finished last episode, you would have seen me knitting the Campside Shawl by Alicia Plummer. I finished it. It's not blocked. I haven't had time. We went away for Easter. I hope you guys had a good Easter, or a good break at least. Yeah, I went up to visit my mum at Snowtown, which is about a half an hour, 35-minute drive from Clare, more along the coast. And yeah, so I got to go visit Tracy at Knit Spin Weave and collect some Easter presents, shall I say. So yeah. My Campside Shawl is knit in the Cleckheaton Country Naturals 8-ply in the charcoal colour. My hair is shedding like you wouldn't believe, and I'm finding it everywhere. And yeah, it's a nice tweedy effect, and it was nice to knit, actually. It got bigger and bigger, and I'm surprised my tendonitis didn't flare up in my wrist, because I find it does when I'm knitting with lots of needles with heavier yarn. And this is just an 8-ply, and it didn't really give me grief. One thing I will say is that you think it's easy just doing eyelets, which it is, as long as you keep counting correctly, because when you don't, it stuffs it up. And yeah, I had to pull back a few times because I'd miscalculated or not done something, or done too many eyelets. Didn't count the right amount of numbers and going, what the hell was I thinking? But yeah, because the eyelets get closer and closer together. And by the end of it, I formed a rhythm where I really struggled to find the rhythm of the eyelets, of counting the eyelets and seeing whether I was, going about it the right way, which that's what seems to happen with me all the time when I do anything that I do. The rhythm of the pattern finally clicks with me by the end of the project. But yeah, I really like it. I'm sure I will block this afternoon, as Scarlett's having a sleep now, so it gives me a chance to do this. I'm finding I did start doing these podcasts on Sundays, but we usually are too busy, and I don't know, get a little bit become a bit shy and self-conscious of having to do this with the family, rest of the family inside. where I think, they can hear me and they say that I'm loud if I do it outside. Yeah, sorry about last episode too with that, so with the constant running water. That was the neighbour's pool filter doing its cycle, and I didn't realise how noisy it was until I played back and did the editing. And then when I mentioned it at the end of the podcast, the plane was flying over as well, because we're in the middle of the eastern states flight pattern site. What's the word for it? Flight pattern through to the airport, because it comes down chain of ponds that kind of follows the Torrens River from the Murray, which is the inlet from the Murray River for our water system to the reservoirs, and it follows down through there. Anyway, moving on. So this is my only finished object for today. What did I use it on? They were on, I'm pretty sure I did it on 4.5mm needles, which I thought it would be a little bit more drapey, a bit more sort of ease, but the 4.5mm usually like on the band of the, have I got a band? Let me see, I might have one. Oh yep, there you go, that's what I used. It says to use 4mm needles, but 4.5s I think did quite well as well. And because it has the tweedy bits put in it, which are usually, what are they called? They're called viscose. Excuse me, nose is, something's tickling my nose. There was a little bit thick and thin, but it was quite a heavy 8-ply, I reckon. But I'm happy. I'll block it this afternoon and pre-wear it now that the weather's been cooler. So that's the only finished object I've got this week. I'll get into what I've finally started something that I've been talking about for a few months and it's been on the list. I started a Hedefude cardigan by, what's her name? Hiroko I did pronounce this. Fukatsu. Hiroko Fukatsu. Which is a beautiful pattern. I'll show you the photo. Have I got a photo? And I'm knitting this in some Rowan, what's it called? Rowan cash cotton. See that? It's lovely. I'm sure everybody knows about this. And one thing I will say, it's a very reasonably priced pattern on Ravelry. Being with our exchange rate in Australia compared to America it's gone down the toilet again for us. So buying single patterns on Ravelry, and that when they put it in US dollars ends up costing us almost $10 for a single pattern, which but they want about just under $7 American, which equates to about almost $9 Australian. And then with the UK patterns, when they're put in Great British pounds, it's like, you start to struggle to justify, do I really want this pattern, considering you have a wealth of patterns, a pattern library yourself that you've collected over the years. And there have been some that I have purchased, and but designers want to make a quid too, so I don't begrudge them from doing that. So anyway, the Hedefude cardigan, I've knitted it in Rowan cash cotton, which is 35% cotton, 25% polyamide, 18% angora, 13% viscose and 9% cashmere. So it doesn't have any wool in it, which I found interesting. I thought it had some kind of wool in it, so it would be interesting to see how it wears. I'm wondering, because maybe the polyamide and the viscose might help it stay together, but it might drape a hell of a lot. I hope it doesn't over drape, but yeah, that's how much I've done. I think I've done about 9 or 10 lace pattern repeats, and I think I need to do 14 before I do the 3 needle bind off to your arms, and then start doing the skirt, the bottom, the waist part of it. So yeah, interesting with the provisional cast on, because you do it in two different points. Well, that's what I've interpreted. I might find out a little bit later I've done it completely wrong. But yeah, you do one lot here, and then you do another lot along a big long one. So yeah, I'm sure when I start doing the 3 needle bind off to do the arms, it will make sense to me. And so yeah, I struggled with that a little bit to start with. Yeah, 3.5 millimeter Knit Pro Symphonies needles that I'm using, and I've got a couple of cute little stitch markers that I got from for a Christmas present from my friend that I go to a Monday night knitting group at the Modbury Hotel. So I have a cider or a glass of wine and knit with the girls for a couple of hours. Trish, she's also got a Etsy store where she sells her I can't even think. She sells project bags as well as stitch markers. She's a jeweller by trade, so she's got some lovely stitch markers there, and yeah, they're quite cute. Yeah, H&T Studios on Etsy. Have a look. And I guess if any American viewers, you probably get a very good exchange rate from them. Speaking of the exchange rate. Yeah, so I'm really happy with that. It's been consuming a lot of my time. I found over the last couple of weeks I've been quite a fairly monogamous knitter. And usually I am, but it's only, yeah, no, I find something will tickle my fancy, and yeah, I have to knit it all the time. Although I have been knitting some Hermione's, continually knitting the Hermione's Everyday Socks as well, which this is how much I am up to. I've just turned the heel, so I'm doing the gusset. So yeah, I think my length is about just over 7 inches. So I thought, it's funny, I thought with my cuff, yeah, that's the one, cuff, I didn't have them very long, but a lot of podcasters don't have very long cuffs with their knitting. But I was finding in winter, when I'd wear them at the shop and I'd have jeans on over top, I'd get cold ankles and I'd be just above where the socks go up to. So I kept thinking, I have to knit longer ones, I have to knit longer ones. So I think these are a little bit longer than what I usually do. So it'd be interesting to see what they'll be like when I wear them, because these will be for me. I'm knitting them in 2.25 double pointed 6-inch Knit Pro sock needles. Yeah, I'm doing them one at a time, and that is with the Opal Neon, or the Dieter, what's his name? Dieter Dornig design. I don't think it's probably been discontinued. But yeah, something that I got a long time ago. So I've been knitting them. Yeah, confession time. I enjoy having a bath and watching podcasts, and I saw someone, I think it might have been, who was it? I have a feeling it may have been Circus Tonic Handmade posted a photo on Instagram of her knitting while she was having a bath and going, ooh, and she had a bucket, and I thought, okay, I can do that. And so I have been known to do a few rows of this, and being that it's a small project, it fits in my little my little bucket that I use in the bath. But I find the lighting in the bathroom's not very good, and I can barely see, I can't see properly with my knitting, so it's more like touch and feel to see how I'm going. But yeah, we all do what we can, and the reason why I would probably overnight, most nights I'll have a bath, is more just to get away for half an hour or so, and the rest of the family can be noisy in the lounge room, and I just need some quiet time. So yeah, that one other thing that I did in the past fortnight, and it's only something, it was just after I finished my campsite, and it was before I started my head of food day, that this has been hibernating for a few months, because it's even before I started podcasting. It's now I haven't written any notes about it. Bugger. I know what it's called, and it's the Nevis cardigan from, I think it was I'm pretty sure it's in a, hang on, let's have a look at my pattern notes. There it is. Because I've photocopied the magazine. It's from Knit Scene. What magazine, which magazine it's from, I'm not 100% sure. But to preserve my magazines, I end up photocopying the pattern that I'm using at the time, only because otherwise it would get trashed. Can you see that? It's a lace weight cardigan that has sort of swing, what are they called? Swing sides, because it sort of goes in and then comes out, a bit similar to the head of food, but it's in lace weight yarn. And so I had some Malabrigo lace in the azalea colour. That yes, so it's quite a long cardigan, and then it's got garter stitch down the bottom. So this is navies, fuchsia pink, or fuchsia reddy pink and purple, and a lighter pink with 2 tones of navy in there. So yeah, I really like it. But I got to the point where I finished all the body, and then I had to pick up stitches for the, this is really annoying me now that I can't think of what it is, for the ribbing edge, far out. And so yeah, I sat down one night and started picking up stitches, but that's as far as I've got. So it's something that has been put back in the rotation of a work in progress, because all I have to do is the band. There you go, the band and the sleeves, and it's done. And yeah, but do you think I can? But that's all the yarn that I've got left, which I'm pretty sure is probably the better part of a 50-gram ball. So I should have enough. I hope I've got enough, otherwise I'm going to be buggered. So the Nevis cardigan is by Stephanie Chappell. Yeah, and it's knitted in Malabrigo lace as well. So yeah, I really like it. And those colours are they're a bit loud, but they're fairly tame as well. I've gotten a bit paranoid about variegated yarns being for full body projects like jumpers and cardigans, but I'm coming full circle with them again and starting to like them again. So yeah, I've found out over the years that's the way I end up being. Some things that I don't like, and I get intimidated by them, and then I'll come around and fall in love with them. So yeah, I've never been one to go cut myself off from going, oh, I can't do that, or I won't do that, or I don't like that. I end up sort of depends on what day I'll change my mind. I'm a girl, it's my prerogative. So yeah, anyway, that's all my works in progress that I've been working on since last episode. I haven't done much on my bookmark. I haven't done anything on my my Cozy Memories blanket. I think now that the weather's a little bit cooler, that will probably start getting back into the rotation because it's getting quite big, which I've mentioned before. Yeah, but one thing that I forgot to mention last episode was that I'd been watching Zena from the Little Yellow Uke podcast, and she mentioned something about taking control of your stash for the year and monitoring what's coming in and what's going out. And being that I've mentioned a few times that I'm trying not to purchase, let me just rearrange myself because my back's starting to hurt. I'm trying not to purchase and trying to sort of eat away a little bit at my stash, that I thought, well, that'd be excellent, I can do that and monitor. So since the beginning of the year, I have knitted up and completed, what was it, before the campsite shawl it had been 960 grams. And with the campsite shawl, it was 365 grams. So I've done a total of 1,325 grams. And the only stash that's come in this year has been a total of 900 grams, which I'm quite proud of myself. Which that includes the five balls of the white gum wool that I got last time. And I bought some jitterbug from Stranded in Oz when I went down to the fisherman's markets. Must have been in the school holiday, so probably in January. And then I've got a few Easter presents, which I'll get into now, which I'm quite excited about. Knit Spin Weave has been accepted by Madelinetosh to be one of their agents, suppliers, retailers. So I got some Madelinetosh. So this is, let me get a little bit closer. This is Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. So it's in the Tosh Sock colourway. Look at the pretty. So there's some plums and some mustardy browns and some orangey, sort of greeny mustard browns, yellows in there. A little bit of mauve and grey and purple and a bit of orange reds and even some pink in there. So the colours really aren't, they're sort of probably a little bit more like that. So I'm excited that I finally got myself some Madelinetosh, which I've been on the knitter's my bucket list for a while. I'm stoked that I got that. And I also purchased some Fang Yarns, what's it called? Millie Colour Sock or Lace Luxe Superwash. So the speckles come up a little bit in there. So there's some plums and some sort of grey browns and khakis and turquoise, which I think I've earmarked it at present to go. Does this go together? Can you see that? The colours are really washing out that you can't. No, it's looking brown. This is some of the white gum wool in the burgundy. But I think I might make a brioche cowl. And because I showed you the brioche that I started doing, the cowl that I started doing last episode, that I ended up frogging because it was a bit too chunky and I really didn't like the colours that I chose. Or I think I might only put an Instagram photo of it. But yeah, and I thought, no, it's too chunky, and because I like to double up my cowls, I'll do it in a 4-ply, which essentially will be sort of probably like an 8-ply So I think I might have a go at doing that. And yeah, so that was, what's that one? That one's 73% virgin wool, 25% polyamide and 2% polyester, which must be the stellina, the sparkles in it. And I think with another colour will just be nice. And then I bought some of Tracy's hand dyed. It's not coming up very well. It's quite a bright, vivid cerise purple and hot pink with the greens and the creamy white base. Yeah, and be interesting to see how that goes up, and I'm sure I will end up putting that in some swaps that I do with my mini skeins. Yeah, anybody wants to do some mini skein swaps with me, send me a message on Ravelry and we can arrange something. So I've sent a couple off. I did one through the Bakery Bears podcast. They did a mini skein swap, and I swapped with Amber. She's also known as Yarn Hoarder on Instagram, and yeah, she sent over some mini skeins which I've showed you about, and then I'm in the process of, I've just sent off last week some mini skeins to Zena from the UK, from Little Yellow Uke podcast. So yeah, this will, I'm sure will go in that as well, and I'll make some socks up for someone. Yeah, that's in her fine merino sock yarn, which is 75 merino, 25 nylon. So yeah, I really like it. She said it might stripe up a little bit, so it'd be interesting to see how that goes. Yeah. So they were my 3 purchases from Knit Spin Weave over in Clare, which yeah, I was really happy with. What else do I have to tell you about? Oh, a little bit of guild news. Guild meeting is this Saturday. Our workshop, usually at the beginning of the first Saturday of each month, we have a workshop after the meeting, and this time it is about seaming. So learning mattress stitch and what have you. There's a seam that, I reckon it's the Angora that's tickling my nose, from my Head of Fudo cardigan. Seaming workshop with, yeah, learning about different seams, and there was a seam that I hadn't heard of before that I might take part in this workshop and see what that one's all about. And of course, we're a little bit of an update of our open day that we're having on the 21st of May. I have a few confirmed stalls or pop-up shops. Melissa from Stranded in Oz is coming along. I think she's teaching on a craft cruise at the moment, which sounds really exciting. I wish I could afford to go or get time off from my family and do something like that. That sounds quite fun. She's coming along with all her yarn and hand-dyed yumminess, and so is Kathy from Kathy's Fibres, and got Sarah, is it Sarah? I think it's Sarah and Charmaine from Yarnarama, and yeah, they've got, hopefully they'll have some new needles that they're getting. I think they're getting, they're going to be a new stock of Shiagu needles, which is good, so hopefully they'll have their stock for that, which I'm a bit excited about because I want to try out those needles as well. And Sarah from Buttontopia, she was there last year as well, and she said she's got a lot more needles and what have you, buttons and bits and pieces there, which we all, we all love a nice button to accessorise with our garments that we make for ourselves and for other people, of course. So yeah, there are 4 that are definite. Carol from Dyed Aussie Yarn is showing some interest. She hasn't confirmed yet, and Mia from Ren and Ollie. So yeah, I hope they both can come, because I saw a little bit of Carol's yarn at Knit Spin Weave, and it looked really nice. So I'd love to be able to see some more of it, to be able to see, feel, and touch it. And Ren and Ollie, I've seen a little bit, like a real small, like one ball of her stuff, or one skein from her stuff from what's her name, House of Yarn. She's mostly online, but she's open Saturdays from her home, and she lives on a main road, not very far from me. And I think I've seen 1 or 2 skeins of her stuff, but I'd like to see more of it. So yeah, I'm excited and hope they can come along as well. We're also, the Guild is finalising the sponsorship for for a few classes in the Royal Adelaide show. Last year we sponsored a handful of classes with a little more prize money. I think we did a hat, a beanie, or scarf. Oh, hang on, sorry. We did the hat or beanie class, the scarf class, the hand knitted toy class, and we sponsored a crochet class as well. I can't remember. And so yeah, we're just finalising what classes we're going to sponsor again this year, and hopefully we get more entries and a little bit more competition. I know not everybody gets a little bit intimidated by entering their stuff in the Royal Show. I've been doing it for probably about 5 years, and I've enjoyed doing it, and there's been some years where I've been a little bit bamboozled as to where the judge is coming from, but you know, it's all personal opinion. And then there's been other years where I've won a class and gone, wow, what I did was interesting, but it wasn't that technically hard. So yeah, it depends, you know, judging, I guess, is all about personal opinion and what they like at the time. I know my interpretation is of this judge, she loves colour work, and colour work isn't my forte, so the last couple of years I haven't done as well as what I have liked, you know, but that happens. I still sort of enter because it's more about preserving the craft for me, and it's interesting to see my stuff on display. Hey, I won't lie. I'm an exhibitionist. I'll be an exhibitionist of my craft rather than myself, if that makes sense. So yeah. So if you're thinking about it, ring up the Royal Show Society and ask them to send something out to you. Because I think they're just finalising the classes for this year, and so the schedule will be posted out to previous competitors. So yeah, every year I've also wanted to enter, because we make a few jams and pickles and chutneys for the shop, and we do a quite fierce green tomato pickle and a chili onion jam. I think the chili onion jam we might enter, and for the last couple of years we're going to enter this, and yeah, I haven't done it, and it's something that I think we should get organised and do it this year. I think the chili onion jam has been quite popular, that we might enter that, and it's quite different. But yeah, so hopefully it'll be interesting to see how we go. I'll keep you posted and what happens there. So in the Royal Show is in September, so we've got a few months left. Yeah. Almost done. A little bit about podcasts that I like to watch and have, I guess, come my way. First, I'd love like to thank Hannah from YarnAdelaide Knits. She's a mum of 2 from northern Tasmania in Australia that does a bit of yarn dyeing. Hair that keep far out. She does some bit of yarn dyeing, and she makes project bags and sells them on Etsy. That's Rosehip Island. Check her out, and her podcast is quite good too. She's from Sweden. She's been in Australia for the past 10 years, and so I find it every so often it's funny. Her accent's adapted quite well to the Australian accent. Every so often, it's about every 5th word you can hear a bit of Swedish, her Swedish accent come through. But hi Hannah. And there's a few others that I like to watch. That's I watch Skein Yarn Studios. Kristen, she's at Skein. Everybody knows Skein Yarn, even internationally it's well renowned as well, which is great for her. It's Kristen from Coffs Harbour. And then of course you've got Danny, Little Bobbins Knits in the UK. My little girl's awake. I'll have to go and see what get her up and see how we can go with the last bit of this podcast. I'll be back soon. So I'm back. I got a little helper. See how we go. I've only got a few more minutes left for my podcast, so This is Scarlett. She's woken up from her nap and is a little bit grumpy, but she's fascinated with the camera because to my right of it, she can see herself, so she's quite fascinated by that, so that will be interesting. So, as I was saying, yes, I've been watching Danny from Little Bobbins, which with her and her little dog. She's quite gently spoken, and I think she inspired me to do the campside shawl and the Harmonies everyday socks, and Now, I was watching Truly Myrtle, which is Libby from New Zealand, but she went to audio, and I've got her audio podcasts on my phone, but I haven't listened to any yet, and it's mostly video podcasts that I watch, and when I walk the dog I will listen to some audio. You want to get down, do you? You're going to stay here. You stay here for a few more seconds. So I haven't listened to any since she's gone to audio. And I watch also Melinda from the Yarnda Woman podcast. It's Melinda from Perth in Australia. Hi Melinda. And of course, who doesn't watch Kay and Dan from the Bakery Bears in the UK podcast as well. They're quite interesting. I do like it when they go and visit different castles and what have you and do a bit of history telling. Makes me want to go to the UK, something fierce, and go experience it all for myself. And Zena from the Little Yellow Ute podcast. I like Zena's diversity with the different bits and pieces that she does do with her knitting and the other crafts and what have you that she does. I find, and she always has a pair of socks on the go, but she will knit cardigans and full and toys and a bit of everything, which is really good. And I've just started watching Tracy and Jodie, as I'm sure everybody else has, from the Grocery Girls podcast. They're in Alberta, Canada, which, hi Tracy and Jodie. They're quite cheerful and very encouraging, and they're quite... I can't believe how well they get along for sisters. What's wrong? You want to get down? Yeah, there's you in the mirror, in the camera. Here comes Kitty. Here comes the dog now. And, of course, Hannah of Rosehip Knits, and she's in Tasmania. Also, when I walk the dog, I will, if I'm walking on my own, I'm just patting the dog down here, I will listen to Helen Stewart from the Curious Handmade podcast. I don't know, I find yeah, and she makes me want to go to the UK too, being that she's an Aussie expat that's living over there now. And then her retreat that she just had sounded absolutely delightful. Yeah. But yeah, so they're the ones that I've watched from the first episode. There's a few others that I've watched and sort of, yeah, haven't watched all of them yet. But they're all the ones that have really, I guess, that have taken me, and I've binge watched them. So I've watched them from their very first episode to their current episode. On a side note as well, about talking about podcasts, Tracy and Jodie from the Grocery Girls podcast was, and a few others, and I think YarnAdelaide mentioned it, and I think Danny from the Little Bobbins Knits as well, has mentioned about the Fish Lips Kiss Hill, about Paddy Joy, or the sock therapist, going through cancer treatment at the moment. And hey, you can't see yourself anymore. There you go, and you're back. Yeah, she's going through cancer treatment, and people are buying her Fish Lips Kiss Hill, which is only $1 US, so it works out about $1, almost $1.40 Australian. So it's not very much at all. And buying her pattern, which is helping her pay her medical bills. And I've bought it for myself, and I've paid it forward and bought it for a couple of friends as well. So I think that's a really nice idea, rather than sort of forming a charity as such, is more helping her by using her tools and what she does, so she can keep going forward. I find that it's quite a really nice communal way, and everybody's been buying it and what have you. It's really nice. So I wish Paddy Joy all the best. I know my mum had cancer a few years ago, and it was bloody hell for her to go through. She only had to have radiation therapy, but she had, careful Scully, she had a bone graft in the roof of her mouth, so to cut out the cancer. So it has taken a toll on her quality of life since having it, which is a bit sad, but she's still battling on, and she has her good days and her bad. But yeah, cancer's a nasty bastard of a thing. But yeah, what can you do? Anyway, so yeah, can't dwell on it. You have to keep moving forward, otherwise you're not living, are you? And yeah. Okay, so I think that's it for me today. I think I've had enough distractions for the last few minutes, and Scarlett, it's about 12:30, time for lunch. So I'll make Scarlett some lunch and block my campsite and make a soup for dinner because of the weather being cooler. So on that note, enjoy your knitting, guys. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. And thanks again ever so much for watching. See, on that note, I think I better go. See you guys.